Hello, friends. Hello. Hey. Hi. This is Proudland, and the land part is not here. Roland is gone. He's dead, and he's gone. And now to replace him, we have Cyphus. Syphilis.
That's right. Syphilis. That was what they called me back in high school.
Cyphus the Sisyphus with syphilis.
That's right.
Always getting that MMR, pushing it up the hill 25, and then it rolls down another 25.
I think I made gains over last week on my party MMR on that main account.
Well, on the party MMR, yeah.
You guys. Yeah, not the solo.
Once you got a Silver Red Sven on your team, it's an easy game.
Yeah, easy peasy. I don't know. I'm doing the recalibration account, and it's going swimmingly, I would say. For me, it's not proud MMR levels, all right? Look.
Wow, big surprise. Thanks for clearing that one up.
Yeah, but it's getting up there. I'm regularly getting just 3K plus teammates, and
yeah.
I'm like 60 matches on it. I don't know. I'm like level 10 or 11.
Yeah, I want to throw my hat, if you will. I don't actually wear a hat. I'm not wearing a hat right now. I do sometimes wear a witch hat, but that's really the only hat I'm ever going to don upon, my dome. But I don't think a recalibration account is like needed, because there was that like Q&A episode where y'all were just like, you know what? I hate to say it, but I think you need a recalibration account if you want to get your MR. You got to do it. I don't think so. I don't think you do, but I think that if you find yourself not taking your ranked games very seriously, and like you just, I don't know, like you get into a ranked game and you're just like, I don't give a fuck. This sucks. I'm just gonna do whatever, and I hate being my MMR, and I'm not trying in any of my games, and I kind of try and then I lose and then I stop trying. If that's where you're at, maybe do a recalibration. But because like I think that's how Roland was, right? He was just like randoming and doing jungle shit and being a fucking idiot. And then he recalibrated it, and on his recalibration games, he took all of them seriously. And can you speak to that at all? Do you have any words?
Yeah, 100%. I don't. So I was not. I didn't decide to do the recalibration because I fuck around on my solo. When I play solo MMR, I try to treat it as seriously as possible. I've approached it that way on my main account for a long time. I think I've climbed like 700 points on that thing since I calibrated it years ago.
Yeah, dog.
It's a bitch, and it's so. I think that, and I apologize to audience members who maybe don't feel like this is you to a T, but I think that at 2K and under, in particular, and if you're floating around that 2K mark, you get a lot of under 2K teammates in your solo along the way. I don't think those are people who are taking Dota very seriously themselves. And I get that, yeah, sure, all things being equal, my enemy team is going to get just as many of those people as I am. Sure, I'll cede that point. That being said, it means that if I want to keep taking it seriously and want to keep trying to climb, I have to overcome a shitload more obstacles in the form of my own teammates along the way. And those obstacles include things like people who are taking the game so casually that they aren't paying attention to things like patch notes, that are taking the game so casually that they're doing what Roland was doing, and it's just a free-for-all. I'm going to try whatever I'm going to do in ranked. I'm going to fuck around, do whatever I'd like to do in ranked. And we've talked about mathematically before in the show. If you want to climb, and your win rate is, and I could pull up my solo win rate on my account, but if your win rate is just barely above 50%, let's say, and that means and when I'm talking about just being a solo player, just solo ranked player, if your win rate in your solo ranked games is even, let's say, pretty damn good, like let's say a 55% or a 56% win rate, which means that you're winning more often than not and is probably due to you being slightly better than your current skill level, that means 1,000 points. That means to get that extra 1,000 points over the course of 100 games, you're going to climb 250 points over the course of 100 games. That's with a 55% win rate. And so that means in order for me to get from 2K to 3K, at 250 points, I have to play 400 games. And 400 games is a lot of fucking games to play. And when you start tacking on the extra little bits, like being frustrated that, or just being tilted in the draft by people, and I'll admit, like, I get that way. And I know that controlling what your attitude is like and how you interact with teammates is a huge part of the game as well. And I get that, and I get that that's a weakness for me. But if it's a weakness that I'm struggling to overcome, why not go the route of trying to recalibrate now that I have a couple thousand games under my belt? I didn't do anything smart when I started that account. I started that account at TI4 when they did that XP booster.
Yeah.
And I rushed. I think I maybe had 30 or 40 games under my belt, of 30 or 40 normal games under my belt before I calibrated. I mean, it just wasn't the smart thing to do by any means. I would have been better off without the XP booster, absolutely, and I would have been better off had I even investigated or asked a higher skilled player or talked to somebody who knew what they were doing. Somebody like Ursi who advises people, like, don't just rush into doing your calibration. I assume that you would offer the same advice.
Yeah, I would say so. I would like make sure there's an actual reason that you think recalibrating is for the best, and a reason like I'm just better than the people I'm playing with is not a solid reason. A reason like Roland's, where it's like I've kind of shot myself in the foot and I just like do a lot of stupid shit for no reason, and I can't take my like game seriously, so I'm just gonna like brute force myself to be taking my game seriously. Like if Roland played all of his solo ranked MMR games the way that he played his recalibration, like even if he just played solo ranked with the time that he spent on his recalibration and took those games as seriously, like I don't think he would have ended that far off from how he ended up in his recalibration. Like if
but it would have taken him a fuckload longer to get
there.
Probably.
I wouldn't say for certain though, because it was what, like he had to play like 200 games or something on that account, like a little.
I think it's 150. I think it's 150 base normal games, and then obviously your 10 recalibration games. But even then, assume you have a 60% win rate over those 160 games, or those 150 games, or let's say 66 for ease. So you win 100 games and lose 50. You're talking you're only talking 250 points. You know what I mean? Like that's, and I think he recalibrated somewhere around like.
No, that's 1,250 points.
Oh yeah.
25 times 50. That's way more than 150.
Yes, you're right. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I mean, it would put him roughly there, but I mean, a 66% win rate is pretty high. But I don't know. Maybe you could have got there. It's.
I also wanted to do it as an ego check. By the way, like don't get me wrong. Like I recognize that I get tilted by teammates because it's frustrating. I mean, it is frustrating to, and I think I probably experience it, and maybe this is egotistical. But I think I may experience that frustration a little differently than maybe even the average Dota player, because I spend so much time with guys like yourself and Ursi and of late Roland, players who are definitely higher skill, talking about more advanced elements of the meta and understanding just understanding some basic things, some basic fundamental elements of the game that I end up getting super frustrated with when just from the draft. I mean, just from the draft alone, when you see those, those five core drafts, when you see that kind of shit pop up, and I know that's frustrating for everybody, and it's even more frustrating for the poor guy who plays the one support in the game. And when I say one support, I mean the one support on both teams in the game. That's a frustrating experience in and of itself. And when you just so desperately are hoping to communicate to somebody like, hey, let's just play it smart, let's just play fundamentals, you talk about that all the time in traditional sports, like the way you get good, the way you get to pull off those crazy plays in a football game, the way you get to pull off those crazy maneuvers in a basketball game, or the reason certain guys end up really shining in those scenarios is because they learn to play good fundamentals first. And I feel like at 2K, that's where we should be practicing fundamentals more than anything, to try to overcome something, or to try to increase our odds of winning. So to get back to my point, I wanted to sort of do it as an ego check as well. I haven't. I'm not playing on that account with anybody else. I am just running it solo, so I will know when I get that calibration that that's what I deserve. Like, that's where I'm at. And if it's back at 2K, if it's 2200, if all I get is a measly 200 points out of it, or even a measly 50 points out of it, I'll know, okay, it's your fault, Cyphus. You are the problem, and there it is. You got to deal with it. You got to figure out how to overcome it. But I don't know. I suspect, just based off of the way the recalibration has been going so far, that I'm going to calibrate higher by a decent margin over my main account. I don't know. That's my thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. I think it's a fine idea. Like, if you want to recalibrate, who am I to tell you not to? But I would definitely say, like, if it's definitely not like a one. Oh God, I'm trying to think of a fucking. What's the phrase? It's not like a one cure fix all. Like, that's not a phrase, is it? Is it?
It's not a
like
one size fits all.
Not one size.
One fix, one cure all diseases.
One fix cures all. I don't know. Anyway, there's some phrase. Yeah, it's not
life.
gonna, it's not gonna solve everyone's issues. Like, I know there was someone in .p, I forgot the name, but like they recalibrated and they were like, 20 MMR lower than their old account, and they were like, well, that was a waste of time. So, it doesn't always work out for everyone.
I'd also point out that, like, I have never dedicated I've never been able to even just dedicate a ton of time to my solo MMR on my main.
Yeah.
But I've played a ton, and I play a ton with a lot of different people, and I don't know. I suspect. I just want to see. I gotta know. I mean, I've been sitting at 2K on that account now for over a year at this point. I think it was last March that I was gonna like try to really take it seriously and really make a go of it and put like 40 games onto it, and saw like minimal gains off of it, and just wound up getting even more frustrated playing with some of the teammates I'd meet in the 2K range. And I hate to like.
I mean, even in my 5K games, like, I get a team composition, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ.
But I will always argue that it's worse with the 2K. Because there
I
are
don't disagree with you. I would argue that it's less impactful at 2K. Like, having a shit team comp at 2K, I don't think is quite as much as having a core lich who is level 18 when you're 5 position oracle is level 21. I feel like once you're in that situation, you're like, well, that's
and don't get me wrong, because I think there are probably people out there who think that, like, I'm a huge jackass, and maybe rightfully so.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think I'm that much better than the people at 2K. I know I'm not. For instance, I know I'm not better than enough 2K players to carry the entire team single-handedly on my back. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I'm not going to, and it's maybe one of my biggest frustrations is, like, man, I'll be having a killer lane. I'll be wrecking, and when the laning phase has ended and it's time to group up and do something, I can't overcome the other 5 enemies who may have been, fed as fuck, or may have had whatever success in their lanes due to.
You're not at a point where you're like, Neo, and you see all the fucking flaws in the Matrix that you can expect.
Right.
Like, you could do better than some people or whatever, but then, like, you're gonna at some point die, and then everything's gonna end.
Right. And yeah, I guess, like, to get that point across, like, I don't think I'm so. But obviously, if I was that godly, I would just climb out of the 2K.
Yeah.
If I was that good, I fully recognize that. Like, I would just carry every game. I would just absolutely wreck and destroy every teammate, and it wouldn't matter what the other 4 guys on my team were doing. And I could spam GG easy in the all chat all day long.
Yeah.
And have a sweet old time. But
that person who's better than their teammates, but just, like, can't climb for whatever reason, like. There's always a reason that that person is not climbing besides their teammates. Not to say that that's your case or whatever, but I'm agreeing with you that, like, if you were good enough if you were that much better than your teammates, then you would be 1v5ing. Like, that's just a fact.
Right. Yeah, and so I recognize that. Like, I'm not looking for. I'll tell you what I'm looking for more than anything. Like, really, like my grandest hope out of all of this, as odd as this sounds, and as much as I've enjoyed like getting into the carry role and starting to play carry, and I do credit that with a lot of my like early success climbing in that on that main account and my early placement on my recalibration account. But I'm just looking forward to the day when I feel comfortable playing support again, and I'm starting to even get there on that recalibration account. And I guess maybe that's a good segue into what we kind of wanted to talk about today. But
it's like, what a beautiful, little well-crafted little segue you just got there.
Because the one I think the reason I think every person who has ever played support or has been willing to play support or has dabbled with it or reluctantly picked a support in a game, I think we all come to the table with some pretty standard fears, right? That is, if I pick this support, would I have been better off swapping roles with the guy who's going to play carry? When I look over at this other guy who's put his icon in the safe lane and he's hovering over AM or Luna or Sven or Juggernaut or a traditional carry, and I know that's his intent. If I pick up a support, am I going to have a game where I'm watching him auto-attack creeps and not getting last hits, or not taking advantage of the fact that I'm zoning an offlaner for him, or not taking advantage of free farm that's available to him, or pushing the wave, or getting needlessly aggressive without backup? Is that going to happen with this guy? And would I have not been better off to have somehow managed to convince him, which of course you're not going to be able to, but could I have convinced him to pick a support and support me instead?
No.
And have it go better?
Of course not. What a stupid comment. Of course not.
But don't you think that's your fear? Like, isn't that the fear of every Dota player when you grab a support, that you're going to pick up this character that by 30 minutes in, yes, you can maybe you can make some sick plays, maybe you can turn around some fights. Yeah. But there can come this point in the game where no matter how well you're playing, and this is an assumption, of course, that you're the best support in the world, and I obviously you'll be able to attest that I am not, but it won't matter how well you do if that guy just completely tanks despite every advantage that the team hands over to him.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly true, and I guess like you kind of have to accept that there may be some situations or some games where there's just like nothing you can do if your building hitter isn't in a place to hit buildings or just fucking dies, and then you don't have a building hitter. I mean there's some things you can do to get around that, but for the most part, like, yeah, I mean you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Because I'll say that, like, for instance, playing support with you guys, I was absolutely down to play support. I have no delusions of grandeur that it should be me in that carry role and you fucking supporting my ass in that lane. Yeah. I none of that whatsoever. I recognize fully. In fact, I recognize fully that you're somewhat hindered by the fact that you have me as a support in lane.
Yeah, you're so shit.
Yeah, thank you. But I know it's terrible. I thought I was all right on CM tonight.
No, you're fine. I was just making fun of you.
But the one hero that I have, like, how many? I have like 100 games.
Every time you interact with a creep camp, though, it always goes wrong. Like, if you get within like 200 range of a hard camp, I just know that everything is gonna get fucked up. It's like with one of their ranged creeps is gonna spontaneously die, and then my lane's gonna push
twice
up,
tonight.
And then I'll tell you to single pull the easy camp and try to connect the hard camp, but it turns out the hard camp is dead, and we're like, oh man, yeah.
I haven't. Some of that is more that I haven't played much support in 7.
No, it's okay, babe. I'm not flaming.
I'm getting there.
I'm just flaming you. It's okay.
I'm gonna be able to stack and pull just fine moving forward. I swear.
I know. It's very easy to like walk somewhere and then like you try to do something like, oh wait, the creep that ranged creep was just killing is gonna die in the time it takes me to walk away, and then I'm within its aggro range, and then it's hitting me, and then it's chasing me. Oh no, now it's hitting the hard camp. Oh. Like that's an easy thing to happen because a lot of the times it was like you were fine, but there was only one creep left in the wave, and I just denied it. And then the range creep was like, "Well, I'm done with this shit. What's up, CM? How you doing, babe?" And then you're like, "No, please get away from me. I'm not trying to talk to you." And he's like, "No, come on, girl." And you're just like, "No, fuck off." He's like, maybe I hang out with this creep camp now. And then you're like, "Oh, can you please just fuck off?" And then and then that creep had no interest in fucking off. It was just
No.
like, I'm just gonna hang out with this hard camp now. And you're like, "Okay, like I'm just gonna get away from you."
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I mean, to get back to that point, I have no concern doing that. I have no concern supporting you. Obviously, in fact, I'm more concerned about enhancing or improving my support capabilities so that it's not a detraction from what you're trying to accomplish in lane as a carry.
Yeah.
And and maybe this is pompous, but I feel like I can play a decent enough carry to play a carry who pulls his weight at the very least in even a 3K game. I think I could do it in even a 3K game. I think I can handle it.
I mean,
that being said, I'd love to support in a 3K game because I recognize that 3K carries who are just playing carry are definitely better carries than me at my like just capable of pulling my weight kind of average ability at a 3K.
It's a hard kind of song and dance because sometimes you do have those games where you're like, that carry was just fucking brain dead. Like there was no ability to win that game. Like the Slark was diving their fountain at like 6 minutes and was just fucking stupid. It's just like sometimes you just have some fucking stupid ass players and you say, I'm gonna play carry, and yes, I may not be incredible, but at least I am not fucking stupid. Like at least the game is remotely winnable when I play carry, as opposed to sometimes like, I don't know, I'll play Dota and I'll have a 6K who is just the stupidest fucking human who has ever existed. Somehow, I don't know if they bought their account or what, but just like maybe they're tilted, but they're just 1v9 whole game and like legitimately walking into every situation 1v5 and dying and like feeding to towers and shit. I'm like, how the fuck? I don't even know. So at this point, I'm like, I don't really care what your MMR is unless like I know who you are as a player, which is becoming more and more of a thing. I'm like, I might just take carry. I just might just take it because I know at the very least that I am not going to just feed incessantly the second one thing goes wrong.
Right, and that's I think that represents the general fear people have when they go to pick a support, and even at the 2K level. And don't get me wrong, like in those 2K games, there's nothing worse than I can't. So I'll tell you some of the other shit that like I know that you guys get trolled at the 5K level. I know everybody gets trolled at every level.
Yeah,
I know that everybody has somebody who intentionally feeds down a lane at every level. I got it. I do think it's more prevalent at the 2K level. I do think that it happens more frequently. I can't tell you the number of times I have been hovering over, let's say, AM. And I only hover over AM because AM is that nice, hey, I'm going to play carry in the safe lane guy.
Oh, I know it isn't. Luna is. It's like if you're hovering over AM, you say, hey,
sure.
I'm going to play carry and I'm not going to participate at all. And you guys already don't like me because I'm the kind of person who walks into ranked and says he's going to play AM. Like, that's not who you want to be. That's not. But I can't. You heard me talk about anti-mage culture, right? Like we gotta end anti-mage. And the second you walk up into the safe lane, moused over anti-mage, like you're perpetuating anti-mage culture, and that's not something I can permit.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And anti-mage culture.
I'll start hovering over Luna. But
yeah, because at least then it's like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna pick a good hero. Because if you don't know what's going on, Luna is the pick. Like as long as you're always mousing over like a good hero for the role that you want. Like, I'm cool with whatever. But, man.
Right. So, but I can't tell you how many times I've been hovering over just any hero in that lane. And just had somebody just pick that hero first, like, first pick an AM to halt me from doing it. Or, and then relocate to the off lane. I had a game the other day where I hovered over AM. The guy first picked the AM. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll go off lane. Hovered over off lane, over the Underlord. Second pick Underlord. I mean, that kind of shit happens. Yeah. I've already forgotten where I was going with this, but it's just that I don't know. It's a fear for everybody that you. Oh, I knew where I was going with this. So that fear of supporting, there's nothing worse than being the guy who last picks a carry when you already have way too many fucking carries. And it's something I always struggle with. I'll be the last pick because some asshole, did something like that, who snagged that, or picked another carry and just popped them in the off lane despite my AM being there, or despite my Luna being there, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll be in the situation where, okay, because everybody else was willing to immediately lock in that carry or that core, I now have to make this call. Am I going to be the asshole who picks the fifth fucking core on this team?
Yeah, you got to pick the fifth core.
Or am I going to pick...
Here's what you do. All right, here's the first relevant information that's going to happen on this show. If you are playing in a game where you have a lot of motherfuckers picking a lot of fucking cores, pick Ogre. Pick Ogre. Ogre plus 4 cores is like a really good team. Like, that's solid.
Okay.
You can play that. Like, Ogre plus 4 cores. That's how Scrunk got 5k. He played a lot of Ogre. I played a game where we had a jungle Terrorblade, and I was like a Sven in a safe lane, but I had an Ogre support. And you know what happened? I just played space-making Sven, and then we just had like 4 bloodlusted cores and an Ogre. And they couldn't win, because we had 4 bloodlusted cores and a tanky support that they couldn't feed off of. It was just insurmountable. If you are playing those kind of games, just pick Ogre. Just do it.
So I guess, and what we really want to talk about today, and I know we're tangentializing a little bit here and there, but is just, what are supports supposed to be doing in 7.0? This is a question I can't tell, because I've been producing the Tuesday Q&A, and every week we get a support question. Every week. And many weeks, we get the same support questions over and over again. People are confused about what they should be doing in the support role. They're confused about the supports that they should be picking in the support role. They're confused about what they should be doing as a support with a lane that's failing, with a carry that's failing, with a mid that's failing, with an underlord that's failing, when they should be going 2-1-2, when they should be going 1-1-3. This stuff is coming up all the time, and I think I fully get it now. Like, getting into, for a long time, as we were doing the Q&A, or for at least the first few Q&As, I was just playing the cores. I hadn't really picked a support in 7.0, and now that I've started picking that up more, and like I said in the recalibration account, I think like 3 of my last 5 games were all supports. I'm with them. I get it. I knew what I wanted the support to not be doing as at the core.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want you in my lane whenever things were going fine. I knew I at 2 minutes. God damn it! Please just go get the runes and leave me the fuck alone I'm last hitting well.
You're able to tell when you're upset, but you're never able to tell like when you're happy.
Right, and or just like where I knew I didn't want you there. But I have no clue what to tell you to go do. I don't know where I want you to be. And sure, I can watch pro games where everybody's rotating around and doing making these sick rotations and these sick ganks into other lanes. But from a it is hard. I mean, it's hard to know what to do. I don't think once tonight. Oh no, one time tonight because Chaos was subbing because we had Roland out of town.
Yeah.
I think one time tonight he and I smoked and went mid for a gank. Yeah. I think that was in game 1 with me on the Venge and him on the...
yeah.
I've already forgotten. Maybe it was Jakiro in that first game.
I think he was Jakiro. I think we had Jakiro Venge.
No, it was Jakiro Ogre. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Venge was the next.
Yeah, and you were on the Lone Druid.
No, yeah, you were Venge. What was he saying? Jakiro, yeah, he was Jakiro's second game. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and you were doing fine. We had
I was Lone Druid. I didn't give a shit. You guys could fuck off.
Yeah, we were destroying that bristle. We had gotten 2 early kills on him with Chaos's rotations up to the from the mid back up to the safe, and we had Chaos kind of babysitting Ursi mid because Ursi was on the on Shadow Fiend. So I mean, that kind of made sense. It was a 2-2-1 for obvious reasons there. And he came up. We got a couple of those early kills, so you didn't need us anymore. And we did, and it was easy to tell. Like, okay, now let's focus our attention elsewhere. This Bristle's so far behind, and Proud so far ahead, and he's playing Lone Druid. you can both zone and farm all on your own without us.
Yeah, I don't need you
So
for shit.
yeah, so we made that rotation. But I don't think the rest of the night we really made a successful early rotation over to Ursi. Nor did we respond. I think one time we TP'd in to respond to him being kind of aggressively gone on mid, with success. We did save his life in that particular instance. I think I even ended up canceling the TP because by the time my TP was about to run out, they had already managed to get the guy to back off.
Oh my god,
so
your CM is so cute with her little pigtails.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
But my girlfriend hates that. She thinks that's she thinks that's the most sexist CM cosmetic I could have.
Yeah, kind of like infantile. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Also, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's cute. My CM cosmetics are dope. I have the like white hair. It's sick.
Well, maybe I need that for the Arcana.
Yeah, I'm not on a different. I'm still on my Smurf account or whatever. I can't see him, but yeah, I'm pretty into my CM cosmetics. She's fucking badass.
But so I guess it's so hard to tell how often you should be doing it. And I know this. It sounds like it always sounds like the answers are simple, right? It always sounds like the answer is, well, if Ursi's getting gone on mid, then you TP there, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, the thing with Ursi is that he'll say he's getting gone on, and then like 5 seconds later he's gonna say, "Okay, I'm fine." So like it's kind of hard to know because like in one of those games, like in the third game against the Monkey King, we were getting pressured like hella fucking hard.
Yeah.
So that's why he was like, "Oh no, you guys are having trouble bottom. No, it's fine. Don't like lose bottom on account of me. It's okay. Like you don't have to. It's all right that I died." And he said that like a few times, and it was like that was the correct call from him. Like we. If one of you guys left for a second, we were both going to die, and then we would have, like, 3 lost lanes against a fucking, like, aggro dual lane, and this Monkey King would turn into a carry instead of a guy who died 3 times in lane. So, I mean, right. it was all good and dandy, but I think probably the biggest issue that you have, at least as far as playing to the mid lane is concerned, is you just need to have a TP on you at all times. Like, a lot of good supports, I know the first thing they do is in lane they just like go zone the off laner or whatever, and then their path to doing that, like they go from I guess I want to say like the inside of the map, so they go like inside, walk around, zone, and then just do like a loop, basically like go from the inside of the lane, loop around, side shot, pick up a TP, and then just like you do a full circle.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
I'm gonna log in real quick and hear me typing.
Okay, all right.
You hear it?
His password is
long.
I love animal.
Shut up.
He's so cool.
I entered the wrong password.
567! Exclamation point.
I entered the right password.
Capital A.
Okay. No, there's no capital A. There's no capital A.
When you're talking about Animal the Muppet, I mean that's the.
There's no capital A. There's no capital A. Okay, we can just.
But yeah, and it does make sense. I mean, I know that's a weakness. I mean, it's such a common fuck up that I see myself make constantly. That I see every support make is not having a TP on them.
You just fuck up.
You got to have a TP, and you're right. And like, it's one thing. So I mean, yeah, you're right. Like we should be buying a TP in the first 30 seconds of the match, basically, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, okay, the thing with Dota 2 that you got to realize, especially as a support, is you can actually time out your items pretty perfectly outside of getting a kill, because you're pretty much only going to be getting like your passive gold, right? Like you maybe get 1 or 2 CS, but all of that should be gravy. So if you just think about it standard, like you're not gonna get boots before you upgrade courier. That's just not gonna happen unless a fucking like random ass kill happens. So if you're not getting a TP because you're like saving for boots or whatever, you know for a fact that unless like you're gonna need to buy the courier before you get boots, or you need to coordinate with someone that they're doing it and you're getting boots or whatever, which obviously is not gonna happen in your game because I didn't hear shit. And like you know what your gold is going to look like, so you can plan accordingly. And what is going to get you your boots is a kill or a successful rotation. And what is going to permit you to have a kill or a successful rotation is giving yourself opportunities, like having a TP on you. And, I don't know, having a TP on you, really. And having, like, a smoke. Like, what's going to get you... It's similar to, like, Yeah, I mean, that's just supporting in general. Like, you're not gonna get shit until you get a kill, or you survive a team fight, or you survive a kill that happens, or you get an assist, whatever it is. Like, doing a lot of farming and not giving yourselves opportunity, or you need to be always open and put yourself in as many situations as possible where the opportunity for greatness, rears its fucking majestic head. You can't like just fuck around and like try to get a spare CS and like not go to fights because you're farming. Like, that's just like, you get bursts of experience and huge bursts of gold as a support. You don't just casually farm items. And the same is basically true for your boots. Like, buy a TP, have the ability to rotate, have a clarity going on you at all times. Like, you just need to be fucking ready. Like, you ever play like tennis, or you ever like do any like martial arts or whatever? You have the ready position. Like in tennis, you're sitting there with your racket, your left, or I guess most people aren't left-handed, but for me, I'm left-handed. So my left hand, lower part of the racket, right hand. I mean, also the lower. It's not like I'm gripping the top of it, but on the handle, like right hand above that, and then I'm sitting there with between the legs, and I'm kind of rocking back and forth. Martial arts, I'm sitting there, maybe in an L stance, maybe just in like a standard stance, just like sitting there, hands up, like bouncing, ready to go. Like, that's what you got to do. You got to always be in ready position. That like bouncing with your hands up, that's you got your clarity potion going. You know what farming is? You got your shit down, your arms are down, you got no clarity, you're not bouncing, and you're just like throwing your leg out for no fucking reason. Like, man, here I go, I'm gonna hit you. Like, that's what having like one fucking mana open because you just used a spell to farm a camp, and now you're out of mana and you have no clarities and you're at half health because you tanked a little bit too. Like, that's not what you want to do. You want to be in ready position. You want to have a clarity, you want to have a TP, and you want to be like saving money for like your boots and shit. Not like, farming like a dumbass motherfucker and getting or you want to get wards out. You want to do that and get wards out, not a dumbass motherfucker getting wards out. That was about to say, not sitting like a dumbass motherfucker and getting wards out, because that's not. If you're getting wards out, you are not a dumbass motherfucker. That is the correct thing. I just wanted to be very clear about that.
Okay, so on the warding front, I feel like we hit this maybe 1,000 times on this show over the course of the last 2+ years.
Okay, no, wait. My CM set is actually dope. The Crown of the Blue Heart Sovereign. If you're playing CM and not using the Crown of the Blue Heart Sovereign, like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, this toothpaste hair is incredible.
All right,
it's legit toothpaste hair.
I gotta look good. Gotta look good when I'm out there in the lanes,
Yeah, dude, Blue Heart, and then the my shoulder armor is Guard of the Tundra Warden. Like, this is some top tier shit. I need a better cape and arms. I actually don't even have cosmetics for that, and I just have the Force Staff. But I have like 2 really good slots, and then nothing else. I don't play CM, believe it or not.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
I have a ton of fun on that hero. But so let's talk warding. Great. I'm steering you back to warding, damn it.
Okay, but like, my CM cosmetics are awesome. All 2 of them.
So for supports in 7-0, we need to be warding. Everybody knows vision wins games. I think I mentioned it with Ursi earlier on, or last Friday. Ursi filled in for Roland on that show, and I was talking about a game where I had a treant who was doing kind of a fun combination of a lot of the things you just mentioned. One is he was saving for an item. Of course, he was saving for his Ags that he was going to rush. He needed it so desperately that he was not buying TPs. He wasn't buying wards. We had no vision. We were going to somehow get his Ags on him without getting any vision whatsoever. So he was saving up for that so he could get those eyes in the forest, and we could win the game once we had complete map control with his Aghanim's vision. Obviously, vision's important. We ended up losing that game because for that amount of time where he was saving up to get that Aghanim's, we couldn't see ganks coming. They were not.
Yeah.
Nobody was smoking. Nobody was smoking. Nobody had a shadow blade. Nobody was invis rotating on someone. They were literally just moving through every part of the map completely freely without being punished for it. And since they weren't being punished for it, they kept on doing it.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like, I feel like the stupidest thing I've ever heard from any human was them being like, oh no, I'm not going to buy support items right now, I'm going to buy a Midas. And then once I have a Midas, the support items will pay for themselves. And that's when I I mail a bomb. I just get to whip out the Anarchist cookbook. I'm like, how do I make a pipe bomb? And then you just mail it. You just find it. You just go. And sometimes that's your only option. And you know what? I hope Roland. Is checking his. Hope he's checking his mail.
Oh my god, was that him?
No, he would never do that. I mean, no,
No,
honestly,
I can't
he would.
imagine.
On his old account, he would do that, but not now.
Yes.
And apparently, he did that with the new way to do it is with Trent. You say, no, I'm not gonna buy any wards. I'm gonna buy an Ags, and then no one will need to buy wards, which is stupid.
He has verbatim told me that before in a match as a treant.
Yeah, that's when you try to be next level, but you're actually just very previous. Like you're so far to the previous level that you're just like a hellspawn of just incompetence.
Yeah.
See, that's
so,
you, Cyphus. Like you're not good at Dota, but you're definitely not fucking incompetent. Like you've never done anything, and I've been like, what a fucking idiot. It's always just been like, oh, that happened because Cyphus just like isn't that good. But Roland's good at Dota. He's just fucking incompetent. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He like knows what he's doing, but he has no fucking idea. He is a bad decision engine. If you ever need a bad decision to be made, ask Roland if that's a good idea and tell him to answer in 2 seconds. If you give him time, he'll be like, no, wait, that's fucking dumb. But if it's like split second, like, yo, should I do this? He'll be like, yeah, let's go for it. And he's like, oh shit, I'm dead. Like, that's Roland.
Yeah, that's the story of his life.
Mr. Roland.
I mean, so when it comes to vision, I feel like the one thing I hear from a lot of supports, or the number one thing I hear from a support who just died, is, oh, I was trying to get a ward up, or, oh, I was trying to de-ward.
Yeah, so it's like, well, how am I gonna get if I'm just dying? Like, how am I gonna? I mean, that happens to me too, when I'm like killing a jungle camp and I die, and I was like, I can't even fucking kill the jungle camp closest to us. GG. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, because like that's the thing with supports. If it's like, because you want to ward where the ganks are coming from, yeah, and you know where's dangerous, where the ganks are coming from, and you know where you need to go to ward the ganks, where you got to go there. That's where you got to be. So yeah, if you're ever gonna do that, smoke.
What do I do? I'm that support.
The team, or if you're okay, and the next thing you're gonna say is, well, my team fucking sucks and they never come with me. Well, guess what? Then smokes are fucking worthless. Just use it by yourself. And if you're walking up to ward and your smoke pops, you'd be like, oh, there's someone here. I'm gonna walk away now. Like you can just do that. Like, okay, so here's how I use smokes, and I think you've probably noticed this some on the team. I say, okay, let's smoke, and we're going to smoke here because that's where we have wards. If we don't have wards, I say, buy a bunch of fucking wards, and we're going to smoke, and we're going to go on a deep warding mission. If we catch someone while we do it, great. But if you look at any time any pros smoke, as they're smoking, as soon as they smoke into territory where they don't have wards, they're dropping wards as they smoke. Not even because they're good wards, but just to give them, like, vision of what's about to happen. Like, I saw this...
Right, because it's...
They were, like... They smoked and they walked to Dyer's top shrine, and no one was there. And then the Slardar like walks a step further and then just like drops a ward at like the base of the ramp to see a bunch of shit. And then there was no one there, and then they just kept going. But that's what you do. Smoke to ward. Yeah,
because it's not about. There's always this, and hell, I mean, I do it too, especially if it's easy to do it. We love the eyeballs. Everybody loves those eyeballs. Everybody loves to ward on the eyeballs. Everybody feels like every ward needs to be on the eyeballs. I can't tell you how many games I have played, even playing with you guys, even playing with arguably some higher caliber players. I can't tell you how many times I have de-warded in a very traditional ward spot, how many times I've placed in a very traditional ward spot, and how often I fought over controlling. And not even like I know well enough now to, if I de-ward somewhere, I pop up the sentry first, see if they've got a ward there. If they do, destroy it, and don't place your observer there, because guess where they're fucking going to de-ward? That's the next spot that guy's going to place.
Here's a helpful tip about that. So I just played a game recently where I was a Luna, and we had the stupidest core lich I've ever had in my life, and I had this Omni Knight on my team, and I was like, buddy, like they kept ganking through our safe lane, and I was like fucking 2 and 8 or something at this point. Like, it was relentless. And we had a core lich, spam farming and AFK farming and shit. So I really didn't have a lot of space to farm. So I was like, all right, guys, like, we need wards in this area. And Omni says, I placed them, but they dewarded them. And I was like, I actually just, like, I believe you that they dewarded them, but I don't believe you that that's a decent excuse for why we have no wards here. So I bought 2 wards, and I didn't ward on the eye. What I did was I warded the eye as in where the eyeballs are, like, on the map, not the eye as in the Han word for gem. I put wards that saw the path to walk to that, like, the Radiant safe lane spire that's, like, really close to where the bottom rune is. It's near, like, all the paths up, and it's kind of near the little sanctuary fountain shrine thing. So yeah. I put a ward on, like, the sanctuary shrine thing, like, or on the top right edge of that. So that basically saw the exact path into the area, and then I placed another one that was like way south of it. So I saw, like, I couldn't see the eye, but I could see, like, the reason that the eye is important is because they normally exist at, like, a sort of crossroads, and like, and they provide, like, extremely good vision, but they exist right on top of that crossroads. So if all you need to do is see the crossroads, like, all you really need is a tripwire, like, amount of space to see someone going somewhere, right? Like, that's all you need is a little sliver. And you see someone's icon flash there, you know it's there. You don't need to see it for 5 seconds of, like, oh, they're still walking this way. Yup, they haven't changed directions. Like, you're going to get the fuck out if you see a flash of them. And so I just have a ward that just sees that general path, but it doesn't see, this huge circle area. It just sees, like, okay, they just makes a line. They might go here. And then another ward that just, makes, like, a solid little block of sight, and they might come from here. And I probably saw 5 ganks come, and, like, my team avoided all of them. We took a good fight, and, like, we won the fight. Just because I didn't ward in a traditional spot, but I warded in a way that could see the traditional spot. Does that make sense? Like, you don't need to ward the spire, but if you can ward a place that sees the general area that, like, leads up to the spire or comes from the spire, that's, like, just as good, if not better, because it's not going to get dewarded, and you will see them warding the spire.
Right. So there's that element of it.
By the way, that was me in a 5K pub as a Luna buying 2 wards. So if you're playing your fucking games and you're like, I hate buying wards, I'm a core, like, no excuses. I had a fucking 6K druid who I told to buy dust on his bear. He has 12 item slots, and he's like, you buy dust. I'm a core. And I'm like, dude, I'm a carry, you're mid. Like, I'm also a core, believe it or not. But I did buy him dust, and then he forgot that he had it. So fuck that guy.
So
anyway, use your item slots, you idiots. Fuck.
Right. Well, and for sure, I've frequently, when playing carry, bought wards just so that I could ward up an area that I knew I was going to be frequenting to farm. In particular, in games where we're behind and vision is not going out or not getting out.
It's, like, good to do, honestly. Like, after that experience, I'm like, I'm gonna buy more wards, because, like, I know where I need wards. I'm the person who needs wards. I'm the one farming. Like, unless this support has a direct mind link to me, their wards are almost always gonna be worse than mine.
Right. Well, you know where you feel most comfortable farming based off of maybe the ebb and flow of the game, maybe based off of where towers are at currently, just based off of your general intuition. You know where you feel comfortable.
Fucking ganked from. I'm aware of that. I know where my death came from, and I'm like, I'm a ward that shit. And the support's like, I'm afraid to go. Oh, no, I went there, guys. I died, but I was just warding. And I'm a carry, and I'm like, I just run there. And unless there's 6 dudes, it don't matter. So yeah, man, carries warding. That's my new kink.
Yeah, and something that's worthwhile and is definitely something I see carries at even at our skill level, or even at 3K and under. There's definitely that unwillingness to pick up a couple of support items. And if you're right, you can complain all day that your supports aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You can complain, and I did. I mean, that Treant game is a perfect example of it. That I totally should have been buying more wards. I think I bought 2 or 3 whenever I was trying to make my last ditch effort to ward up our jungle so that I could try desperately to farm it to kind of come back into that game. I tried to ward every path into the jungle so that I knew if somebody was coming in. but didn't do it enough, and it absolutely could make the difference in a game. That's definitely not solely the responsibility of the supports. That being said, it should be. It should be. It doesn't have, maybe it's not, but maybe it should be, right?
Well, I mean, like, I'm never gonna say that it's optimal to do that, but I think it's fine to do in a pub, because I mean, the amount of gold you have as a kid, like, even if it saves you one death, the death cost is probably equivalent to about buying 4 wards, like. And for support, the gold is so much more impactful. I've always kind of been unsure about this because, like, Luna can farm so fucking easy, right? Like, I got gold flying out of every orifice I own, even some that I don't own, like, it's just, they're everywhere. There's just gold flopping all around. And
your orifices and that big cat she's riding.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gold happening everywhere, and there's only so many places you can stuff it. Eventually, you got to put it in your mouth and your ears and shit. Like, there's just a lot of gold. And maybe you can, drop some of that out. I don't even know how to use the word extol, but I'm going to say it. Maybe you can extol some of it on some words. Do you know how to use the word extol? Because I don't. I just know it's a fun word to say. We're going to use it wrong. I'm going to look it up later when you start talking. But yeah, maybe you can just extol all of your, like, a little bit of your money on the wards. And then your CM is like, wow, I can afford my tranquil boots now because I didn't have to spend whatever passive gold I get on this. That's just like... Because, like, once you hit, like, 8 slots on AM, sometimes he just buys 50 sentry wards, and he's like, here, you can have it. You can have all of them. I don't need it. I don't need any gold. I got all the gold. You can have the sentries. And you're like, thanks, bro. They don't have any invis on their team, and we have 2 gems. But, thanks for the thought. But, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe there's some situations where you can do that a bit earlier. Like, if one of your supports is like, yo, I'm really close to a blink. I don't want to. Can someone else buy wards? And then your other sport's like, yo, I'm really close to a 4-staff. And then your Sven, who's 8 slotted, is like, hey, let me buy everything. And then it's like not a problem anymore. Like, hey, yeah. I'll buy it. It's okay. I don't know.
Well, just because you buy them doesn't mean you have to even place them. Even if you're slot starved, it doesn't even mean you have to place them. You can buy those fuckers and drop them from your stash and ping them out, and everybody in every language gets to see it because Dota auto translates. You can ping out that there are some observer awards or there are some sentry awards dropped right there in the fountain for you.
Yeah,
that's always an option. It's always something that you could be doing.
Oh wait, I didn't know the next toll.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
it means to praise enthusiastically. So
oh, that's dumb. I wanted something to have to do with a toll. Oh wait, there's X-Toll versus X-Toll. One is oh, that was a stupid thing to say. One is with 2 L's, the other one is... Oh, is it only with 2 L's? Or is it only with 1 L? Okay, it's just with 1 L. X-Toll with 2 L's does not exist. Okay, well, maybe if you, like, had a toll, but there's no longer a toll, like, this could be an X-Toll bridge or something?
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Oh my god, I want to make a lot of puns with an X toll road that's like cursed, but it like, I guess it would be the inverse of it.
Or how about, no, the X toll road would be a road where you paid to go on that toll road by praising the individual who owned the road.
Yeah, no, this is definitely going into that game that I'm making.
Yeah.
Not making
okay, so
not doing that.
I feel like we've been all over the map, which is ironic to say when talking about Dota 2, kind of almost. Yeah.
Dude, I report so many people on my fucking main account that like every 5 minutes I just get a message that someone got punished by my hand. It's awesome.
What else do we need to talk about with supports? And have we even helped anybody? Have we helped any souls today?
We haven't really helped anyone. I'm gonna be honest. I just feel super out of it today, not having to do with any of my stuff that's going on in my life. I just feel kind of weird, and I was like, I'm not going to actually say a lot this episode, going to be honest. I mean, we have Roland is actually just my muse. I'm going to be honest here. I would be nothing without Roland, and you're beautiful, Cyphus, in your own way.
Yeah.
But Roland is like,
but I'm not muse worthy.
He's, oh my god, like there would be, like if they were still printing Sandman comics, like there would be an entire little section of Morpheus like going through, and like we would definitely get at least 3 pages followed by a 2-page spread devoted to the way Roland impacts my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
Sandman?
Sure. Yeah, I love Sandman.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, can we stop this? And I'll just read you Sandman over this podcast.
Yeah, I think everybody would enjoy that. The people are gonna start hitting you up for Sandman and your Liquipedia readings.
Yeah. I'll just intersperse some light. And by the way, this team got second. They're like, oh, thanks for the show. Anyway, I don't know.
D Ward? How about D Ward?
What about D Ward? I don't know, dude. I fuck it up all the time. Hope there's a Slark on your team.
There you go.
Hey, can you check over here? And he's like, no, there's nothing there. I really need to farm. And I was like, can you check again? They might have done it. And he's like, can I just please farm?
I mean, is support just all about communication at that point? I mean, is it even in your pubs? I mean, is it that? Is
For
it
the most
that?
part, yeah. I mean, okay, so there's two kinds of like supports that I'll play. There's the one where I just need to like communicate with every motherfucker. Normally that's either a 4 or Skywrath Mage, because it's like the heroes that can't really just like okay, so there's a lion, right? A lion, you don't really need to communicate with anyone. You can just sit there and then wait to jump. Like if my Slark is interested in killing someone, I don't have to tell my Slark shit. My Slark is on autopilot. My Slark is gonna look for a motherfucker and then try to kill him whether it's a good idea or not. And then my job as a lion, no matter what stage in the game, I can blink and fucking hex and then stun and then finger, because those things can't be popped. You can't manta out of hex and finger. And yeah, so like there are just some supports, like actual hard lockdown supports, that are never going to stop being relevant. And then there's the ones that have to be like in the middle of shit all the time, or the ones that have, you know, disables that get that you can like manta off, or Juggernaut can spin out of and stuff, like Crystal Maidens. Or then there's like Slardar. Like Slardar, you kind of need to be with your team and let them know like, hey, I'm gonna crush this guy and then get out. But yeah, so like I tend to kind of prefer to play. I mean, at my MMR now, I can kind of, you know, rely on some communication. It's all good. But I prefer to play the lion-y ones. I mean, Slardar is just absurdly good. I don't think his archetype is that great for if you have like 0 communication going on. But like heroes like Lion, Disruptor is really good because outside of BKB, they have no counter for you putting your little Disruptor thing over them. What is the thing? Static Storm? Is that it?
Sure.
Static Storm.
No, it's no, it's not static. Is it?
Yeah, dude.
Is it?
What the fuck?
Is that what it's called? I forget.
The forecast. Yeah.
All right, I believe you.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. You should just like turn me over and stab me in the back. I watched John Wick last night. That was good. Not the second one, the first one. I've been pro Wick for a very long time, and I just watched it.
Oh man, it was one of the more entertaining. It was just a fun movie.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. We had to see Theon Greyjoy get the shit kicked out of him by
that was
Keanu
a little
Reeves.
sad. I was like, oh, Theon Greyjoy. Oh no, he's like not a good person in this movie. I mean, not that he's a great person in Game of Thrones, but you know, he was like an insufferable shit, and I was like, god damn it. But oh yeah, that was great, man. Have you seen Shoot 'Em Up?
I have not seen Shoot 'Em Up.
Shoot 'Em Up is the best action movie ever made, like ever. It's so good. The opening. You know what? I was gonna spoil what the opening.
Thunderstrike.
What? No, Thunderstrike is his Q.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, his ulti. You fucking idiot.
Oh.
They can get out of your Thunderstrike with anything.
Thing he throws over you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I give up.
This just sucks. Shit episode.
Remember We've helped no one. Not even me. I don't even know what to do as a support still.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
All we really said is buy wards as a carry, which I'm sure everyone was like, the fuck is this shit going on?
Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Yeah, man, I get regular praise. Like, people message me like, man, Proudland is so much better than anything Ursinity has ever done. And I'm like, I know, thank you. And then I put this shit out, and I'm like, oh my god.
Maybe we should have had Ursi. He can talk about supports, or can he anymore? I mean, does he even know what?
I'm pretty sure the only words that are capable of coming out of his mouth are, "I'm getting ganked mid. What the fuck was that?" And what? Yes, I'll do that after I ask him 4 times whether or not he's gonna go along with a plan. Dude, that was my favorite. That Roche plan was like, okay, because I was like, okay, we're gonna do Roche now, and then 10 seconds later, Sam says, okay, I'm gonna get Soul's bottom as Shadow Fiend, and I'm like, oh, can you just like tell me in advance? Because I was like setting up for Roche, and he was like flabbergasted, and then I like go off and do other things, and then I see Roche dies, and I was like, okay, so you were gonna kill Roche. You should have. I had like 7
to be
levels.
fair, we melted.
Oh
we
yeah,
had the team to just melt Roche. It didn't matter. We didn't even need him really.
No. But like, I didn't even walk to it because I thought, okay, so I thought when he said I'm going to get souls, that means I'm not going to Roche. I am just going to get souls and then do something else. And then I specifically was like, okay, does that mean that you're not going to do Roche? And then he said, yeah, I need souls. And so I thought it was, okay, he's getting souls and he is not doing Roche. And now we're being clear. And then he walked to Roche.
His actual response was, I'm a shadow fiend. That was the first thing he said to you. Was, I'm a shadow fiend. We were like, what does that mean? And he said, I need souls.
I'm pretty sure he didn't just say I'm a shadow fiend, but there was definitely a very weak line of communication happening where I was like, all right, there were like several ways to respond. There was, I'm going to get souls and then come Roche, or I'll come Roche in a second. But none of them were, no, I'm not going to come Roche. Roshan has been killed by the Dire. Like, that was not the chain of communication I was looking for.
Yeah, we melted that Roche. We had I was Venge with Max Scream.
Yeah, we had Venge, Slardar, Shadow Fiend.
I had the amulet. We had Slardar.
Yeah,
like we just melted Roche. We didn't even need the Shadow, but the Shadow Fiend would have just been overkill. It would have just. I had
a Desmo too. Like that's how few seconds Roche could have died in. Man, Sam could have just farmed Roche for one of his souls. That would have been faster than going to a lane. I would love that, man. If a Shadow Fiend was like, wait, don't kill Roche, I need its soul. And then everyone like holds up, like, okay, no hands touching Roche. My bear is getting its skull crushed in, and he walks easy soul.
What do you tell people? All right, we have to offer some tidbit of something useful, because there are people
Silver's awesome. Span.
No joke. We get questions about supports every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday. Every Monday night we record that show.
I just feel bad that I didn't I had a lot of time to prepare for this, and just like I had a really good idea, but I just forgot it. Like I was thinking about it in the shower, and then I finished showering, and then I just didn't know. I just forgot. So I'm sorry. The whole idea, so I'd have more time to prepare for shit, and then Roland leaves. And I'm like, what's the point of life if I'm not hanging out with Roland and I gotta hang out with this syphilis guy?
If we don't get to bask in the glory of his light.
Yeah. All right, so ask me a question. Give me a question. Something that you aren't sure about. Like, I don't know. Just come on. You gotta be a Roland for me right quick. Pretend you're Roland. What would Roland ask right now? Put yourself in the mind of a Roland. What would he ask? Do you even fucking know?
No, I have no idea, because how does one understand how that man thinks?
I was challenging you.
No, fair enough. Okay.
Here you go.
When do I rotate? When do I rotate?
Stupid question. Fuck.
Why is that a stupid question? When do I rotate?
Under the flame. Okay, all right. When do you rotate? Okay, so here's. So when we played
support, I get that there's a different reason to rotate for every lane.
Sir, I am trying to answer a question, sir.
Okay.
Would you please calm down and sit down? Okay.
Yes. I'm very calm. I'm sitting in the comfy chair.
Not in my lobby.
Well, this lobby.
Yeah. Okay. So here, when we played with Stan King and he was supporting me, I was like, he maintains that it was just luck and stupid shit, and he wasn't even trying. But I know he was, he's so good, such a good support comparatively to you that it comes naturally. The tempo at which he did things, the rhythm of his play was like fucking perfect. He was in lane when he needed to be. He was out of lane when he needed to be. He was ganking a middle lane when he needed to be. He was doing everything when he needed to be. Everything he did was perfect. Like I would do that several more times if it probably wouldn't get weird. Like it was great. So you gotta get the rhythm of it right, and that's something that you gotta feel out. And obviously that's not gonna help you. I don't just say, hey, check your rhythm, and then you're like, hey, my rhythm's good now. Like that's not how anything works. Ain't nobody living like that. That's not successful. You can't just say things like that and then it works. But what you can do is you can try as hard as you can to pay attention and understand that there needs to be a rhythm to what you do. And a rhythm is not boom, and then you wait 3 minutes, and then there's a boom, and then you go do something else. A rhythm is like boom, and then you like, this is like a little, maybe like a rest, because you're not, you're not the solo, you're not playing a solo, you got like this nice rhythm, you're coming in and out, and you go, and then you like, get a rune, and like that kind of shit, so you gotta like pop in lane, harass someone real quick, and then, but you gotta have the plan going on. So like, okay, so the easiest thing is you play in the first minute. So like at 52 seconds, you almost always want to stack a camp. So the first thing you need to do is be like, all right, 30 seconds into the game, I'm going to be harassing. The lanes are going to meet at around 30 seconds-ish. That's when you're harassing. And then after your initial wave of harassment, either the dude backs or he doesn't. It's not like 20 seconds of harassment is going to change any outcome. 10 seconds is all you fucking need. And then you prepare to do your stack. After that, you decide whether or not you need to pull. And if the answer is no, you go harass. If the answer is yes, you do the pull. Then you look for the rune. And you keep checking like, okay, so imagine it's kind of like, I can't think of anything good. But okay, so you have your bread and butter strat is you zone the offlaner. Like that's your default action. Always zone the offlaner in steps, or not in steps, in like at something kind of like at a tempo, but more like at some kind of frequency, or in waves. Here we go. You harass the offlaner in waves, and you need to look for other shit to do in between the waves. And also you need to see maybe you need to wait for a better opportunity for harassment to present itself. Then you do another thing. But you need to look at everything you do as maybe like a 20-second step. So as soon as you're engaged in something, you want to like be looking at the clock or looking at the map and say like, what can I do in the next 20 seconds? Or what should I be doing 20 seconds from now? And like the possible options you have are stack, pull, go to a rune, harass the offlaner, go to a shop, get yourself ready, buy a TP, do whatever, go get a ward out, shit like that. Like there's plenty of things to do, but you need to have a decent internal clock in your head for about 20 seconds. Like, okay, I just zoned the offlaner, now I have 20 seconds to go ward. If you do need to just continually zone the offlaner, you need to really address whether or not you're actually being successful or if you're just existing there. If your safe laner is just going to die if you leave, then it's not really about how well you're playing support. It's just how well you can stop loss the shitty lane that you found yourself in and what you can do to not be in that situation again. But I would say that like the most central thing to playing support right now is getting that 20-second rhythm down in your head and really like living into it. Like you gotta throw your full weight into actually understanding what your rhythm is right now, and you gotta make sure that you're not getting stuck on one activity. And even that game where I had Stan King on my team, there were several times where the offlaner was in my shit way more than I would have liked. But before it got too intense, he showed up to save me. And it helped that he played a really good hero for that, Skywrath mage. Skywrath's a very fast hero, can zone out any offlaner and really helps him play that tempo of like, okay, now he's zoned. Okay, now I get the rune. Okay, now he's zoned. Okay, now I pull it a ward. Okay, now he's zoned. Okay, now I go gank mid. Like that's how you got to do it. Like zone him, do a thing. Zone him, do a thing. Like, but you got to know what things there are to do. But like when I see you just like kind of walk around somewhere like, and then like whatever happens, and like maybe you fuck with the offlane camp, and then like 40 seconds goes by and you just like fucked up my lane. I was like, okay, you should have just like zoned and then 10 seconds later dealt with the hard camp instead of like, I'm next to the hard camp. It's 44 seconds. I'll hit it. Whoops. I got the range creep. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know what, but you just, it was really weird. But like, that's what like, do you get what I mean? Like, you got to know how to,
100%.
Yeah. Was that remotely helpful? Like, really kind of talking out what your rhythm should be?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Of course it does. So okay.
Basically,
but what do I do?
You're fucking stupid, and everything you do is wrong.
Right.
And you're never gonna be Stan King.
I know. I'm not. It's so depressing every day. I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror and I think,
I'll never be him. And then you punch the mirror.
panicking.
But it didn't work because you punch it so many times. There's only stray shards of glass.
But apparently, I could be Bobcat Goldthwait based off of your impersonation.
What? I don't even know what that is.
You don't know who Bobcat Goldthwait is?
I don't think I've ever heard the set of syllables Goldthwait in my life. How do you spell that?
Google it. Bobcat is like you think, Bobcat. Goldthwait is Goldthwait. I want to say.
What the fuck?
He's a comedian and a really funny guy. He's
Goldthwait.
He was not for.
Okay.
The moment you hear his voice,
what a face. Yeah. All right. Let's see what this guy sounds like.
You got to make sure he's doing.
All he's doing is screeching. Yeah, this is me.
Yeah. That's what I instantly thought of whenever you did that impersonation.
Oh my god, this is me as a person.
Okay,
he's like crying for no reason. This is incredible.
What do I do?
Screaming and crying into a microphone, wearing a robe with fringe. This guy's awesome. Holy shit!
You should see some of his movies. He did that movie a while back about the guy who decides to go on the weird killing spree with this young girl because he just hates the way everybody behaves in America.
Oh yeah, that movie looked interesting.
Yeah, he directed and wrote that movie. He's a weird guy, but he's really funny.
This guy looks.
If you watch Larry Sanders, he was on the Larry Sanders show a while back, forever ago.
Okay, I'm glad I just found this person who screams. Because I'm also a person who screams.
He lit the couch on fire when Jay Leno was on the Tonight Show.
That is incredible! Wow, what a hero! Holy shit! Yeah. You know what? Shout out to anyone who does casual arson.
Yeah. Okay. So everything you talked about there was about you mentioned zoning the offlaner, zoning the offlaner. Now what do I do?
Oh my god.
Zoning. What do I do when it's what is my function as a support whenever it's a dual lane and a dual off lane?
Okay. Like,
am I trying to do the same thing,
are you in the safe lane or are you in the dual?
I'm in the safe lane. I'm in the safe lane. We'll go to the opposite side of this in a moment. Okay. But I'm now I don't have that solo offlaner to just zone and try to get into my rhythm and to go to do stuff. Now I've got this dual lane whose entire goal is going to be to kill my carry the moment I go to do generic support stuff. The moment I go to grab that 2-minute rhythm.
The best thing you could ask me, because every support doesn't know what the fuck to do when they go from tri-lane to dual lane scenario. So you know how normally when you're zoning an offlaner, what you want to do is you want to come from like the inside of the lane, or you want to come from like the inside of the map to the outside and like loop around on them. When you were 1v2 or you're 2v2 as a Rubik, and you're against like Spirit Breaker Abaddon, the last thing you want to do is run behind them. That's not kosher. Similarly, the last thing you want to do.
You're the 2v1 and not.
Now you're just fucking dead. Now you're dead because you just walk like okay. So you know how there was when we were against the Monkey King and I think Chaos was either Chaos or you guys were on like the inside part of the lane or the inside part of the map, like on the inside of the tree line. And I pinged it, and I was like, what the fuck are you, like, what is the point of you being there? Because you know what happens? Like, if they are also there, you're fucking dead. You just die. I can't walk through trees.
One of us did die.
Yeah. I mean,
one of us did. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to be, buddy boo? What you want to be is you want to be next to your carry. If you're the ranged hero and your carry wants a last hit, but their ranged hero and their dual lane is attacking them, your support should be attacking them back. So many times I've been in a dual lane where I'm just like trying to right click and there's like a fucking 30 damage CM just spam right clicking me and I have a witch doctor 200 units behind me just sitting there like, yup, this is happening. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm taking right clicks. You have a 30 damage advantage on this small waif of a human being. Like, throw your magic purple at her and she'll just fall over. But he's just like, oh no, I'm kind of scared right now. I don't know. It looks like a risky situation. I'm like, buddy, just fucking sit next to me and throw right clicks. Like, get out of the mode. Like, return to the 1K mentality where everyone's dual laning and everyone's fighting for last hits. And the second you see someone near our lane, just auto attack them. Like, that's what.
So
what?
What about drawing creep aggro though?
If they're attacking me and I'm in the creep wave, then the creep aggro is not really going to be that big a problem. Or you throw one auto attack and you walk back, and then you never get hit by the creeps, but you ended up pulling my creep wave back, and that's good. But the central thing is, if your carry is taking right clicks, you have to understand that the enemy team is putting themselves in a situation where they are getting right clicks off on you. Therefore, you should be able to put yourself in a situation also where you are getting right clicks off on them. If you are not in a situation where you can do that, something is extremely wrong. And your carry right-clicking or getting last hits is not very wrong. Like, that's the correct thing. Maybe you're just so fucking outgunned that your carry can't go for any last hits at all, in which case maybe that's their fault. But at the very least, you have to, like, reckon with yourself, is there a reason that my carry should be unable to last hit right now? And if the answer is no, and he's just getting, or if and they're just getting right clicked for no fucking reason, like, reassess what you're doing, walk up there, throw some right clicks yourself. Like, if you're a witch doctor, you can throw some fucking right clicks out. Like, if you have a 600 range hero, you can do that shit. If you're like Jakiro or Venge or something, like, I mean, Jakiro with liquid fire gets more range. Fun fact, liquid fire on Jakiro has more range than his auto attack. If you like press E and click on someone. But yeah, just if anyone didn't know that. But yeah, like, if you're Venge, maybe it's a little harder to do. If you're a support Luna for some fucking reason, it's a little harder to do. Don't be a support Luna. Man, you know what? Actually, a support Luna giving me plus 14 damage at level 1, never miss a last hit in my life. This is awesome. We're gonna run that.
All right,
it's a good aura, man. Level 1, 14 damage to everybody in the club. That's crazy.
We get a casual Shadow Blade and just throw out that ult, right? That's all I would have to do.
No, man. Okay, you run Drow mid. Oh no, not Drow mid. You run Drow safe lane, Huskar mid. Ah, no, that's not good. I want a Drow plus that aura. Okay, support Drow, support Luna. No, okay, you want Drow safe lane and Luna, a Luna support, and then I don't know, Venge, and then you have like a tri aura in one lane. Holy shit, take tower level 1. That's incredible. And there's just like a Huskar mid or something. Sounds awesome. I'm gonna run that.
Meta.
That's actually
Nobody
like,
gets to do that
I know that sounds stupid as shit, but I think if you have that plus like an axe off lane, I think that's almost viable. Like, almost.
Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to try it.
I really want to try a Luna support right now. Holy shit. I'm foaming at the mouth. I really just want plus 14 to last hit with.
All right, so now I want to throw the opposite question, because I think everybody associates support, at least in my brain. I always go right to.
Okay, wait. If you're dual laning as a support, okay, you just make sure your carry is not taking last hits. You make sure you're leveraging your right click. You want to make sure you're sitting in lane with your carry, not looping around to the side. The second U2 or U3 split up, one of you is going to get picked off, and it sucks. You need to stay together all the fucking time. Your strongest is 3. The only time you ever move out of that is if one of you is going to get a rune and they communicate that shit, or if one of you is going to pull and they communicate that shit, because then you need to position yourself in like a line between, like, you know, your carry and lane, one of your supports pulling, the other support in between your carry and the person pulling, unless the carry is taking
to be able
right
to respond to any of the 3 of you being gone on.
Yes, any of the 2. Right. And the 2 of them, and you know, your 2 friends can respond to you as well. Yes, so you need to all, you know, be within. You need like a formation, you know, like when you're watching, like, I don't know, some shitty cartoon, everyone's like, all right, everyone, like, you know, like some superhero thing where everyone has formations, like Team Alpha formation, like that's what you need. Only it's like line formation, which is super simple. Okay.
All right, so now I want to pose the flip side of that, because I like everybody, I always think about support in relation to the safe lane carry. I always do. It's where my default thinking goes in my brain. But you're right. This meta has been way more favorable for 2-1-2 runs, or even 2-2-1 runs, and we see a lot of supports in the off lane. We even see a lot of supports sitting mid and babysitting certain mids, like Shadow Fiend, or I guess I see it with Sniper sometimes, or at least for like the first little bit. Any mid who needs a little bit of an edge right off the bat, right? So now I am the support running in a dual off lane. What's my goal? What am I doing?
Your goal is to look for the opportunity, sir.
The opportunity?
Yeah.
That's it? I'm just looking for opportunity?
Yeah. Fuck them up.
To what?
Fuck them up.
Fuck them up? So I'm getting it straight from the Proud's mouth. I just want to be fucking people.
Fuck them up.
All right.
You gotta.
And however best I can accomplish that, that's my goal.
Ask yourself,
Enemy.
how am I gonna fuck them up? And then you fuck them up.
All right. That was really helpful.
Dude. No, I mean, like, that's really it. Like, what is the point of an aggro dual lane? Fuck them up. And, like, what do? Fuck them up. Like, that's, you fuck them up. Like, you're strong. Like, you draft an aggro dual lane to be strong. I hope none of that was really loud. Was any of that really loud?
No.
Okay, because I took my pop filter off and, like, I moved my face, like, into my mic, and I was, like, breathing into it. And I was just like, hey, fuck them up. Okay, I'm glad, because, like, the Zencaster is, like, a big spike, and it's like, whoop, you just said something. I'm like, oh, sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, you draft an aggro. Okay, like, if I'm against Spectre CM, you know what my aggro dual lane is? It's like fucking Abaddon Spirit Breaker, and like, you know what they do? They fuck them up. Like, that's all they do. Right. That's what you do in that lane. If you have more of a carry, like,
get up in their face.
Yeah, like, if they, like, in the words of Ursinity, don't let them step to you. Like, if they are stepping to you, then you step back, sirs.
Like, and by step back, you don't mean like retreat. You
you step in response forward.
Yeah, they step at you, you step at them.
You step to them, comma, back, not like you step to them backwards.
Yeah, you just gotcha.
Yeah, like, because okay, so if you're running a dual lane, then you are running that with the notion that you are stronger in at least a 2v2 situation. Yes, you may not be stronger 3v3 or 2v3. But you should be stronger in a 2v2 situation. So, like, what you do is you want to, like, exert your girth as much as possible upon them. And then the second one of them needs to back or one of them needs to pull, or, like, the second they get split up, that's the opportunity. And then you take it. And you can do various things as a support to give yourself the opportunity, whether that be one of you can take one of the jungle camps that's in the offlane jungle real quick so that you guys get a big experience advantage. You can do a pull, even if it's, like, a one pull. That's a fine thing to do, like, just, single pull the hard camp, and then they're going to have to walk in, like, a weird way, and then one of them's going to walk one way to deal with it, the other one's going to walk the other, and then you've got a hard camp between the two of you, and it's got 5 units next to it, so you have a fucking a Hellbear that just did its little shockwave and hit one of their supports. Now that support has an extra slow on them, then you kill them. Like, do weird shit, create the opportunity, and then you know what you do? Fuck them up.
All right. Okay. I got one final one, and then we can close this bad boy out.
Okay.
Now,
have we ever had a podcast that was not a bad boy? Because I feel like any time I've ever been with you, our podcast has been a bad boy.
I guess that's.
I don't know if that's like a sex thing or if it's just like
leftover in my brain, probably from something I saw as a child.
Too many bad boys.
My expert psychological.
Would you say Ursi is a bad boy?
Myself. No, I'd say Ursi's probably like, he's too good. He's a good boy.
He's a polite boy. I'm not sure if I'd call him a good boy, but he's certainly a polite boy.
He's a very polite boy.
What's Ursi's D&D alignment?
I would say Ursi's neutral good.
Really? I'd throw him at true neutral.
Oh, really? No, yeah. I think Ursi's neutral good. He doesn't want to harm anyone.
That's fair.
But he would also he would oppose evil. He would oppose.
I don't doubt that. Like, he's definitely like a very good person, but like his attitude, that fucking attitude that boy's got.
Well, that's why he's neutral. It's not like he's he's trying to be the best he can be, and that I think falls into the definition of neutral good.
I think he's more lawful than he is. He doesn't curse. You can't be. That's. If you don't curse, you're lawful.
He doesn't curse because he doesn't curse. I think large. I mean, I don't know if he has a personal issue with cursing. Maybe he does. But I always assumed that had more to do with like. Yeah, that's always what I assumed it was. I would, because I'd swear he cursed at least a couple of times with us in Seattle.
Yeah. No, he did.
But maybe I'm wrong.
I'm just trying to use any time I'm recording without Ursi to try to, like, lower really his fan base as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Yeah, it's working.
because I gotta look good in comparison. It's not my overall numbers. It's just how much better they are than Ursinity's.
Your light will shine brighter because his darkness grows darker.
There's nothing dark about that boy. The palest kid who's ever lived.
But Roland is chaotic neutral, straight up, chaotic neutral.
I think he's chaotic good.
Oh,
I mean, I think everyone on this podcast is good. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
Okay.
What you think? You think Roland is? You don't think he's good?
I think he's chaotic neutral for sure. Yeah, chaotic
Really?
neutral. That's my bet. That's my
Yeah,
my preference.
maybe. I mean, like he's good, right? But I don't.
Sometimes he's chaotic neutral and god damn it, a few more good deeds and he'll cross that line.
Yeah, but no,
I don't know. You're probably
I mean, like he's a good.
He is chaotic good.
His heart's in the right place, like he's never not had his heart in the right place. But I think he's just way more on the side of chaotic than he is on good. I think that's where the issue is.
Yes,
because it's so chaotic. You're like, were you trying to be good, or like was this just pure absurdity?
It's heavy chaos with Roland for
yeah,
sure.
with like with a spice of good.
It's a capital C lowercase G.
He's like a big sushi, like a big fucking piece of like a sushi. And no, he's like a nigiri. So you got a big rolling nigiri going on. And you don't have the actual wasabi. You just have that shit that you get in America, the like green horseradish shit. And like that's the amount of good. It's like not the green it's not actual wasabi. It's like that kind of green off-brand horseradish thing. But it's still like they call it wasabi, so it's still good. But it's like
it'll still clear your nostrils,
Yeah, but it's just like a dab of it, and you're just like, there's definitely more chaotic nigiri going on right now than the good wasabi happening. And I'm not even sure if this is real. And that's Roland.
All right, I got one last support question for you.
Okay.
This is it. This is it. This is the one.
The only.
When do I send a support mid from the get-go? When am I running that dual lane mid? Why am I doing it? What heroes do I watch out for? How do I know that I need to be
Here's a rule of thumb. If there is a Shadow Fiend in the game, one of your supports is going mid at level 1.
Okay. And is that the only
That's the only thing you got to worry about. That's the only thing you got to worry about. Alternatively, for your pubs, that's all you got to worry about. Me as Lone Druid, I can 1v1 any motherfucker in the world. You show me a motherfucker, and I'll show you a dead dude at level 5. Once I'm level 5. I'll show you a dead dude at level 4, because I'll have denied enough creeps that he's level 4 and I'm level 5. I'll show you a dead motherfucker at 4:30 minutes in the game. And, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. And I don't even need a motherfucker. I just do it myself. But, having a support is nice, and sometimes I fuck up because I'm stupid and bad. But, like, if you have a fairly self-sufficient safe laner and they have a pretty weak off laner, like, if they have off-lane Mirana and I'm, like, I don't know, Slark, and we have a Skyrath Mage and a Disruptor or something, either Skyrath Mage or Disruptor can just, like, walk mid and throw a nuke. But the key is you want to zone mid, you don't want to leech mid. The worst thing in the fucking world is, like, me playing mid, and then someone comes to my lane, and, like, I have 80 fucking base damage on my Druid. I don't need your shit mid if you're just going to take my goddamn experience. Like, if you want to zone, that's cool, but the way you do that is, like, you come from behind, you sit on their high ground, and, like, you throw a nuke, and then back off. But if you're just, like, sitting there trying to right-click them and fucking up my creep aggro and shit and taking experience, like if I'm not level 5 at 4 minutes 12 seconds as a mid player, I'm not fucking I'm just gonna abandon, and I'm gonna rage at you, and I'm gonna cry, and then I'm just gonna, like, scream, and I'm gonna quit Dota and uninstall and go crash my car.
All right, fair enough. Okay, we gotta close it because I just got the low disk space warning on the studio PC.
I was gonna
want to lose this episode.
Joke, like low dick space, but I didn't want to. I would have had to go, like, real in depth with it, and I don't think anyone wants to listen to that. Hey, that was almost one.
And if it
real
cost us
in
the
depth
episode because, like, it went too long, I'd be sad.
In depth with low dick space. That's funny.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to close this out with the plugs, and then you're going to do whatever you and Roland do on this show because it doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, he tries to close it out, and it's, like, super easy, but he just like, flounders. It's really weird.
If you guys want to find us, we're at defenseofthepatients.com. I got to take a peek at the upcoming website, the bit of the UI that they've got done so far. Man, it looks good. I'm so excited to see this roll out and to see us enter the 21st century.
Will it usurp Ursinity as the cutest person in .p?
Yeah, easily. This
oh
is
my
the best looking element of .p will not be a show host. It will be this website.
Ursi's a very cute boy, may I remind you.
Well, we can do side-by-side comparisons. We'll put the website on the left, Ursi on the right. We'll mix them up, for the sake of potential left-right biases.
Well, let's not objectify him.
We'll see what the studies say.
Let's not objectify Ursinity, please.
All right. Well, then,
he is a person. He's not just meat for you to ogle. He's skin and bones for you to ogle. Because he's skinny like me.
This is very important market research, and we are capitalists after all, sir.
You're fucking capitalist.
We gotta know. If Ursi's not good looking enough, we're gonna have to cut him.
The pros are gonna rise, man. I'm just saying, and Ursi is gonna lead them.
So check us out at defenseofthepatients.com.
Can you imagine Ursi leading a Marxist revolution? This is my new fantasy.
I really could. Yeah, I could actually. Yeah. He'd be a grand leader. He'd be that kind of boring history teacher type leader,
Yeah.
He'd be like if Dan Carlin and John Lennon had a baby,
Okay.
That's what I think.
Can you finish the plugs? You're taking a long time.
Yeah, I'm trying. If you go to defenseofthepatients.com right now, you can get one last look at that shitty website before it goes the way of the dodo. Because that's going to happen here pretty quickly. And you can also visit us at patreon.com. No, Dodo, not Doto. Dodo, like the bird that went extinct.
I understood that, but I wanted to make the joke anyways.
Oh. Why do you do this to me?
I'm sorry, dude.
I just wanted to plug the stuff.
I just wanted to do my plugs, and he keeps interrupting me. Yeah, this is how we get people
Patreon.com. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Patreon.com/Defense of the Patients is where you can help support the show. So many people have been showing up in the last couple of weeks to support the show.
How many is it?
46 people. 46. We are at $431 out of our $500 goal. I didn't think we would we hit that $250 goal, and then we are almost to the 500 already. Within a matter of weeks. It's amazing the support that we've been seeing there. Thank you for the messages that we've been getting from people that are supporting us through the Patreon, letting us know why and what you're looking forward to seeing from us. The folks who have hit us up about episodes. We had somebody commission an episode of .p, which is the $50 donation that you can do. You got to let us know. Let us know what that you want that episode to be like and what you want it to be about. It's going to be a special one that we'll do, and we'll just release to folks there on Patreon. And right now, if you're a patron of .p, there is an episode up that only you can hear. If you go and donate even $1, you get access to it. You can go hear it. You can listen to it.
I haven't even heard it.
Roland. Yeah, that's right.
It's that exclusive that I can't listen to
exclusive. It. I'll send you a copy.
No, I can't. It's not until I donate.
It's nearly 2 hours long, so it's a lengthy one. It was fun to do. We got into a lot of interesting
But you had
history.
enough disc space.
We had just enough disc space.
That lengthy one. That was good. Thank you.
That was a good one. Yeah. That was the best dick joke so far.
Thank you.
But it was fun to hear Ursi, because Ursi is always so structured with the shows that he's involved with, and it was really fun to have Ursi in a less structured environment on a show.
Yeah.
Just to get some of his random kind of off the mark or off the cuff responses to things that were not Dota related.
Yeah, get to hear Ursi kind of cut loose, loosen that tie a little bit, take a few buttons out of that shirt.
It was a blast. So
yeah.
You can go check that out right now for as little as $1. You can donate. I think that's the minimum that Patreon requires. And if you're a patron, you get that episode right away. Another one will be coming out at the end of the month, so roughly 8 days from now. So about a week, you'll probably see another one show up on Patreon. As soon as we record them, we release them and throw them up there, and we send out a message, post to everybody, and you can go check it out. Let's see. Follow us on Twitter at @p_show. Hit us up. Let us know what's going on there. We've been getting a ton of people hitting us up lately there. It's fun to interact with you guys. It's fun to. It's just good to relate with the community, and we've been getting to do a ton of that lately, and just more and more. It's kind of on a huge uptick, and it's been a blast. Let's see. You can also find us defenseofthepatients@gmail.com is where you can forward or send us emails about the show. You can also send us email questions for the Tuesday Q&A, which we record every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing that tonight. If you're listening to this today, you can tune in tonight to hear it. You can join the Discord, discord.gg/.p, where you can ask your question live. Just hit me up with a PM. Just do @Cyphus or right-click and send me that message. Find me over on the left. I'm up there at the top with Proudland and Roland. Easy to locate. Let me know you want to ask a question and you want to do it live on the show, and I will make sure that you're on the list and that we get to you as quickly as possible. If you can't tune in at that time because maybe you're an international listener, maybe you're one of the fine folks over in the UK or in Australia or in Germany who listens to this show. If you can't do that, you can always call us on our
shout out to our Southeast Asian fans. That's my favorite.
That's right.
Country.
Yeah. So
I'm to be ignorant.
I know. Yeah, it's good. You're good at it.
Thank you. I have a lot of practice in my daily life.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let's see. So call our toll-free number. It's 888. Oh shit. 410-7150. 888-410-7150. I did that by memory. I'm almost positive. I'm like 99% sure that's right. You can leave us a voicemail, and we will record those, or we will play the voicemails on the air, and then we'll have Ursi and Roland answer those questions for you. That's going to be it. Those are all the plugs. Twitch.tv/.ptv. You can watch a stream. We did the Sunday team stream. Proud and I referenced that quite a bit in this episode, I know. And if you want to check it out, you can go to youtube.com/.ptv1. I should have it up by the time you're hearing this, I think, to check out that VOD. We didn't have old Rolando, but we did have Chaos, who's a .p Discord admin and a longtime fan of the show, and he was happy to fill in and did a great job. So
I hope I wasn't too harsh
put
on
Roland
him.
and me to shame.
Chaos is too nice to be mean to. But there were a couple times where I was like, buddy, that was wrong, and he didn't say anything, and I was like, oh no. Did I say the wrong thing? Chaos, I love you. Those were good games. Shout out to you.
He's such a team player. He probably was internalizing it and trying to figure out how to fix it and what he should have done in that situation.
Okay.
He's a great guy. He's a blast to play with too. I never have a bad time, even if I lose when I'm playing with Chaos.
Yeah, no, Chaos
He's just that fucking friendly.
Chaos is fantastic. You know who is much more fun to play with? Then? I was trying to think of someone that I wanted to say something bad about, but I love everyone, so it's so hard for me to badmouth anyone. No, come on, hey. Come on, buddy.
No, I love Grumbo.
Yeah.
I love Grumbo.
Yeah, let's not let him forget that.
Yeah. Don't forget it, Grumbo.
Don't forget it. All right, are we done? Can I close the show out?
Yep, you sure can. Do whatever you do.
All right, and remember, it was our theory, and if you lose, it was probably your fault. That's how we end shows, I think.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
I don't play damn.
I got to keep on.
I don't play damn thing, man.
I got to keep on.
I don't play damn.
I got to keep